Opera, as I'm here with a Peasant standard cycling deck using Tamiyo, so all rare or less cards. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with cycling since this new set came out. Don't have a lot of the cards yet, but with what I have, I've still been able to come up with some pretty fun stuff. So this deck centers around just wanting to cycle away a bunch each turn and get some value and kill your opponent. So we'll start with Escape Protocol, the main engine card in the deck, so an enchantment support for 5. When you cycle another card, you may drain 3 mana from your hand. If you do, exile the last creature and return it to the battlefield under your control with its reinforcement. So it'll flicker one of your creatures. So the creature we want to flicker here is Herald of the Pantheon, which will be our mana engine cog in the deck. This Centaur Shaman for 7 is a 4/4, so pretty good stats. I used this a bunch back in my early days in the game. I haven't used it for a while, but it fits super well here because when this creature enters the battlefield, each support in your hand gains 3 mana. Then when you cast a support, you gain 3 life. We're not going to cast a lot of supports, but that could come in. But this, when it enters the battlefield, each support in your hand gains 3 mana is great because we're loading the other 5 support slots here with cycling support cards. So that way, if we have other cycling or other support cards in our hand, those will all get mana, allow us to have mana to cycle the card and then drain 3 a turn with Escape Protocol. So this will create an engine so we have enough mana to keep cycling stuff pretty quickly. So we've got our mana production cog, and so we need a damage cog. So what I've chosen within the Bant colors for this is Corpse Knight, Zombie Knight 3/3 for 9. When another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, your opponent's planeswalker loses 2 life. So this is great. It's not cast, it enters the battlefield. I've used him in other combos, but it works great here when we're flickering Herald of the Pantheon to deal our opponent 2 a turn. So as I mentioned, with Herald, we need supports to gain mana, so we have 5 other cycling supports in the deck. I have 3 Triomes. I focused on ones that created blue, and then green, and then all 3 create blue, 2 create green, 1 creates white. Not planning on casting them a lot, but if we do need them on the board, it would produce the most blue, which is our card that we want, the color we'd want to match away the most. But they all have cycling 3, which is the most important thing. The great thing about cycling decks is you can really, if you have the engine cards, you can use all the pieces are pretty interchangeable a lot of times just because you just need stuff with cycling. Cycling 2 is generally better than cycling 3, but you can use whatever pieces you want. Those are what I used. We do have 2 other cycling 2 enchantments that are available within blue. So we have Reconnaissance Mission, enchantment support for 10, with cycling 2, but the text is when a creature you control deals combat damage, draw a card. We're not going to drop it on the board too often, but this could help us get more cards in our hand, which is sometimes important as we're exiling stuff away that's not supports enchantments sometimes. Ominous Seas is the one enchantment we are pretty likely to cast, and this guy is great if you can get him down early in this deck. It's an enchantment support for 7 with 2 shields. At the end of your turn, if this support has 9 or more reinforcements, it loses all its reinforcements. And keynote that it doesn't kill itself, it just loses all its reinforcements. Then create a Kraken token with cycling 2. But when you draw a card, reinforce this support. So that is great because we're going to be cycling away a bunch of stuff which draws cards, makes reinforcements of this, and then we're going to be getting an 8/8 hexproof 8/8 hexproof token, which is awesome. And then if we're comboing off, eventually you sometimes will, since we're only running, I think, 6 cycling cards in this deck, you will eventually run out of cycling cards. Chances are you're probably going to get another Kraken on the board reinforcing things. So these Kraken piles can start moving up real fast, which is great. We do want a little removal in the deck because it takes a little while to set up the combo, and if you're a little slow, your opponent can sometimes beat you out before you can kill them. So Zenith Flare works great for this. It is a non-cycling card, but it's that good that we need some removal. So it's a spell card for 7. Deal X damage to target creature your opponent controls, and you gain X life. X is the sum of cards with cycling in your exile or graveyard. So this is great. So once we've cycled away enough stuff, we can start to kill a bunch of stuff. For instance, last game I was playing, my opponent played a Frost Titan, or whatever the blue Titan is that kind of freezes your first creature on the board. So I was able to get rid of multiples of those and some other creatures in the game and keep my life total high, which is also great in this. Because you need to make sure you live until you get the combo online. Once you have it on, you're doing pretty well. So this just works great for removal in a cycling deck. Last card I chose to run was Flourishing Fox in my deck. If I had Splendor Mare or Boon of the Wishgiver, I'd probably run those. First, Splendor Mare, probably the most. Boon of the Wishgiver, though, does allow you to draw cards to help find your combo pieces. But I think Splendor Mare is a fantastic option for the last slot in this deck if you have it, because it's a 4/4 lifelink for 9. If you have to cast it, it's okay, and it can help gain you some life with cycling too. But the big thing is when you cycle this card, target creature you control gains lifelink. So this will allow other stuff you have on the board to stay alive. This would be especially great to throw on Krakens as well, just as they swing for 8, 16, whatever a turn to help keep your life total high if you need it. Again, I don't have a lot of the cycling cards yet, so I just ran Flourishing Fox as a cycling 2 creature, though if you did put them down on the board and you didn't have the ominous enchantment, Ominous Seas, this guy could be okay, because as you're cycling a lot, he could get a little bigger as well. So yeah, so let's go ahead and run this deck. We're going to give it a shot in Training Grounds here. Yeah, give it a try here. So yeah, again, I've been having a lot of fun just experimenting around with cycling. There's been some other interesting engines which I think have potential to think about within a cycling build. One of them was Cavalier of Thorns, which will fetch a land card and give it full mana, and you can use that to fetch the Triomes, which is pretty cool. One I haven't tried too much yet is Kefnet, which I think cycles when you draw a spell card. It would copy the spell card with half mana. Though it sounds like the copy thing is not always working or something. I need to play around with that more. And then another thing I've been messing around with instead of the Escape Protocol is Astral Drift as well. In certain builds, like the Cavalier build, you can use Astral Drift instead if you're exiling away cards that have a bunch of mana. So lots of interesting options to do here. All right, so I think what we're going to start here is just get this Ominous Seas on the board. Again, we generally want to cycle stuff away, but I think just getting that down first so we can create a Kraken is going to be pretty good here. And then we'll start cycling stuff away after that. So again, we get +3 to blue and then +2 to white and green. Our opponent gets +3 to the teamer colors and then -1 to white and black. So let's go ahead and take a look here, see what we can find. We could get a green match in the 5th column, which could drop into a red match or another green match. That doesn't seem too bad. Have another red match available in the 3rd column or the 2nd column. Not going to take forever here, so I think I'm just going to take this green match, see what we get here. Great, and we did get some other cascades, which is awesome. Good, and we got that support on the board, which is wonderful. Great, and then see, we drew a card, so that got reinforced, which is wonderful. So what we're going to do is just keep Corpse Knight in hand for now, and it's great that we have the Corpse Knight already, so we'll be able to eventually get our Kraken in the first slot, then Corpse Knight on the board, and then Herald on top of it. So we're actually set up in a pretty good position here. So let's see, I can get in the 3rd row, I could get a green match that went into a blue match, which would be pretty solid. But I could also get a green match 4 into a blue match 3, which might be even better. Yeah, I think we'll do that for now. Oh, actually, that's kind of a cool match because it gets a green match 4, then a blue match 3, and then well, let's see how this works. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that for now. Great, and then that does drop our blue support to the bottom, so it's harder to break up, which is nice. So let's see. This guy's when he draws a card. Yeah, okay. All right, we do have a fox. I think it's going to be better, though, to start cycling away the fox because we're going to need 3 creature slots, and one of them we'd rather have a Kraken than a fox, I think, as opposed to early damage right now. So start cycling some stuff away here. Great, there's our escape protocol. That's wonderful. So now all we have to do is find our Herald of the Pantheon, and then we're off to the races. Okay, there's another Ominous Seas. All right. I'm debating now if I want to just use this -2 or save it for a little bit. I may just save it here. We'll see, but eventually I'm going to use that pretty soon. So let's see, we have a white match into a blue match, which is pretty solid. I think that's what I'm going to take. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and take that for now. Maybe I should have looked at, maybe I did know I was going to give my opponent that red match 5. I wasn't looking too closely on the board. Ooh, so their guy's big now. That's a little obnoxious here. So again, this would be great, where if this fox was an Ominous Seas, where if we do get a Kraken and then we could cycle that away to give our Kraken lifelink, it could definitely give us a little more time on this board, I think. Great, we do have a Zenith Flare, which is wonderful. So let's look, we have 6 cycling cards in our graveyard, so we need to cycle a bit more, but then we should be able to kill their dragon with that and recoup some of that life. That's why I think that Zenith Flare is so important in here. This is great too, because we're getting some cycling 2 cards, which is awesome. So we can stretch our mana a little bit further. All right, so we have 10 cards in the graveyard now. Debating here if I want to use this first ability just to knock him down a little bit, and if that's the case, what I probably want to do is get rid of a Zenith Flare, I think. Though that's a little dangerous because he could start to kill stuff. So I think we'll wait a little bit on that. Again, I want to hold off the Zenith Flare until I have 12 or more cards in exile or graveyard, which is pretty much just going to be exile for this deck. So let's see here. Could get a black match into a green match. That's not bad. Probably what I'll do here. There's also, let's see, a big green match, but that will take out some other white things and other things I don't necessarily want to kill. Actually, black into green. Yeah, let's just do black into green for now. That could potentially get me a red match too. All right, cycle away a couple things and hopefully we have enough mana to... Great, and there's our Herald. Wonderful. Great, so again, it's important that Herald would come in after the Corpse Knight. Let's see, we need to cycle away one more creature, or one more card. Great, there's a backup escape protocol. We don't really need that right now. So what I'm going to do here is get rid of our escape protocols. So we make a little more room in our hand. And then cards with cycling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. So that should be able to kill the dragon. So we're going to cast our Zenith Flare. I think actually what I'm going to do as well is just use... I could use this ability this turn or next turn. Maybe next turn makes more sense because... but we don't have any cycling cards in hand, so I think I want to use it this turn to try to draw into more cycling cards. So we could start to cycle them away next turn. Great, and these Zenith Flares are going to help us just hold the board until we have enough mana to get stuff comboed, which is great. Don't think I necessarily need another one immediately. Maybe it's better to start charging the Corpse Knight and the Herald at this point. So I think that's what I'm going to do for now. But let's see. We can get a white match into a blue match in either the first or the second column, which is pretty good. Probably going to do one of those. Trying to see if one is potentially better than the other. Not seeing a huge reason for one over the other. Actually, I'll take the one on the left because the one on the second row would have given my opponent a match 3 for blue. So this should go ahead and kill his dragon. Nice. All right. Thank you, Zenith Flare. All right. Now we just need to charge this stuff and grab some mana. So right now I think I will actually get rid of one Zenith Flare. Keep one as a backup just in case, but I want to start filling my hand up with some cycling support cards. So let's see. We've got a blue match 3 we can take. We have, I can do that in several different ways. We can do a white match, but blue gives us more mana. So let's just go ahead and take a blue match 3 for now. Great, we got the white match as well. That's awesome. Great. We're going to get rid of one more Zenith Flare. Hopefully draw into another cycling card for next turn. Then we'll put our Zenith Flare on top, I think, to gain a little extra mana if we have to cycle some of this other stuff away. So we're getting pretty close to be able to go off again. We're pretty close to getting another Kraken as well, which is awesome. So let's see. Got a white match on the top we can take. I think that might be our only good match that I see on this board here right now. Actually, the white match on the right might be even better because that could get us into a red match as well. So I'm going to take that one. Great. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 other cycling cards now, which is awesome. So I think I'm going to pull the trigger now. I need to get these creatures on the board. So the next turn I can start cycling off, which is awesome. Let's see here. I think I take the white match. There's also a black match 4, which could give me other white matches to the left if stuff falls, but I think I'd rather take the sure thing. Let's go ahead and take that white match. Great, and we noticed that that filled up those 2 land supports that we have in hand, which is awesome. All right, so now we get to start going off here. So what I'm gonna do, and I can't this turn, if he had a creature on the board, actually what I would do is use his first ability of draw 2 cards and disable the opponent's creature, but they don't have that. So all right, so we're just gonna start cycling. We're gonna leave our support enchantments in our hand as long as possible because we want to net mana off of those. So Fox will cycle away. Great, we drew into another cycling support, which is awesome. Oh, am I an idiot? Yes, I'm absolutely an idiot. I need to get an escape protocol on the board. I think I actually exiled the escape protocol previously, so glad we have one. So, all right. Pay attention. That's the other thing about combo. You got to pay attention if you actually have your combo on the board. That's funny. Let's see. So we take our black match and then hope to get a white or green matchup on the top. Don't think I see anything better than that, so go ahead and do that. I really hope our opponent doesn't kill our creatures. Great, we did get another Kraken, which is awesome. They've got their dragon. All right. So let's see, we have one. So we have 4 supports in our hand, which is actually super sweet. So let's get our escape protocol on the board, and then we might as well cast our Zenith Flare as well to kill their thing. So we're going to go ahead and take the blue and the loyalty. Didn't look too hard at the board if there was something better, but this will help our life total go up a lot higher as well, which is awesome too. So yeah, back in 102 life, that's awesome. Yeah, Zenith Flare, before I was trying to go full-in combo, but just having even one removal piece, which helps you gain life and do other things, is just fantastic. All right. So let's see here. We do have all our combo pieces now. Let me double check. Yes, we do have Escape Protocol on the board. We have Corpse Knight down on the board to drain our opponent for 2 and we cycle. And we have Herald of the Pantheon in the top slot, which it needs to be to flicker. So it's off to the races now. So let's see, we're going to cycle away this guy. We'll drain some mana from our hand, but we're going to trigger Escape Protocol. It drains, but then it gains mana back for us, and we drained our opponent for 2. So that's awesome. So we'll just keep going about this. This does take more clicks than the old cycling because you have to click confirm for each time you want to use Escape Protocol. But it is nice that it's a May effect, because sometimes you might not want to use it, but it does definitely add to our situation here. Let's see. I think I accidentally exiled something. Maybe that wasn't a cycling card. Yeah, it was a Corpse Knight we drew into. I should have kept that in hand, but wasn't quite paying attention. So let's see. We'll keep cycling away here. Oh, wait a sec. Did I use this ability? I should have used this ability at the beginning, because that would have gotten us more cards into our hand. But great, we drew into more support cyclers, so that's awesome. You don't actually need more than 2, I don't think, in the deck to keep the engine going, but this just means we're in very good shape now. Great, so again, reminder, when you go to cycle cards, pull the card you're going to cycle away if it has any mana on it up to the top of your hand, or else it will take that mana away when it cycles and then drain mana from the top card in your hand. So just keep that in mind. So Renaissance Mission. So you see we are drawing into non-cycling cards, so eventually we will run out of cards to cycle. But that's where stuff like the Ominous Seas is great, just because it allows us to get ever-growing threats with our Kraken piles. So I think what I'm going to do right now, because, well, let's see. We're at 32 and we can deal our opponent 23, so maybe we just try to cycle out for the win here. Though we're in good shape, so it's probably better just to be safe and make sure we have our 2 cycling cards. We are going to use Tamiyo's first ability to draw more cards next turn, but I think it's better probably just to be safe and keep 2 cycling cards in hand since we're in control of the board. And then if we cast some more of these other cards on the board, that's great if we can get them. If not, not a big deal. So let's see. Could get loyalty 3. We could get 3 red several ways. Let's just go ahead and take the red. Maybe we can get a blue match too. Nope, but that's okay. Oh yeah, well, so we're not going to use that second ability now. Next turn, but that's okay. We have enough mana now that we don't even have to cycle stuff away. We can just win this turn, which is awesome. But again, just one more time showing what happens. We cycle flickers, nets mana onto the card, and then we're done here. So we'll go ahead and just do this win here and be done. Actually, that was dumb. I'm not even paying attention here because I should have cycled away and then tried to kill them that turn, but that's okay now because he had a blocker. But now what we can do is just do the same thing here and just attack now for the win. So there we go. Win with Peasant cycling using Tamiyo.